Welcome to the Stellar Woman Show, the podcast, magazine, and video hosted by Stella Olivia Kikoyo. Each week, Stella will be bringing you a guest or a segment from the Stellar Woman magazine, whose mission is to spread thriving global women's stories, expert knowledge, and experiences covering mind, body, and spirit, fashion and beauty, money, business, and leadership, so that you too can be inspired, learn, be empowered, and thrive. Since knowledge is potential power, our aim is to spread it like light from one woman to another, which we believe will help to bring about change in perspectives and create new possibilities for all women to learn, be empowered, and thrive. We know if one woman thrives, her family and community thrive too, and the world becomes a better and brighter world. With over 100 interviews and stories, articles, videos, surveys, real life and business lessons and trainings, we believe that there's no better women's classroom as the Stellar Woman Show and magazine. Stella and her guests will be exploring how they started, the dreams realized and unrealized, aspirations, the steps taken, the challenges, failures, lessons learned, decision-making process, and what made them successful, and the stellar woman that they are. For more information, check out the website, www.stellarwomanmag.com. Now, here's your host, Stella Olivia Kikoyo.
Hello, welcome again to the Stellar Woman Show, the show that brings you thriving women's stories, knowledge, and experiences so that you too can learn one or two things and be inspired, make a change, and thrive in your life. We thank you so much for keeping up with us. And today, it is all about decision making. We've been talking about courageous decision making for some time now. I think from episode 6, you have different stories of thriving women diving deep to talk about different decisions that they have made. Decisions to get married, decisions to get out of their marriages, decisions to work in the evening, decisions to change a career, a decision to move from one continent into another. These women have made different decisions and at different times of their lives. And each of the decisions that they've made have had different implications, different outcomes. And they dive deep into tell us some of the implications or the outcomes that they got out of their decisions. What we get, as we shall find out, is that these women, although some of the outcomes were not exactly outcomes that they loved, they never regret these decisions. All they say is that they learned from those decisions. And all these women interviewed, from Beth Levitas to Tina Baker and June Dennis, they are all calling for timely decisions. So some of the decisions, as you will see, have influences in them, and some of the decisions are emotional decisions, and some of them are corporate decisions. They involve putting down plans, strategic plans to know how to move your corporation from one level to the next, and all to mergers and even exits. So these women are making strong decisions. So let's start from all the learning that you've had. Today we shall be really focusing more on what June Dennis discussed, but also what Tina Baker brought together. So I will drill from both learning, and you too can make a decision to pick up one or two things that you can learn from. Let's talk about how you make decisions. How fast do you make decisions? Are you a fast decision maker or a slow decision maker? Most of the women I interviewed, and it all depended on the situation. But one thing that I learned from them that most likely you should be knowing is the need to schedule if you're in any situation where you find that You cannot make that decision there and then. You better schedule it. Scheduling it has been important, and June Dennis emphasizes it, and so does Tina Becker. Tina Becker, who I'll tell you more about, and you should have got her story from episode 9 and episode 10. Tina is an IPO and venture capital lawyer who is qualified both in the US and the UK. And she's also a musician, a singer, and a songwriter. Her voice has been featured on gold and platinum records. And did you know, Tina started recording with Madonna in opposite studio rooms, both of them with two dancers. I couldn't believe this, but this is very true. They are actually friends, and she actually supported Madonna and was one of her backup singers in her first record. And Tina's music has been featured in other records, and her music has helped and created a musical movement that defines the music industry today. And you can find out more of that in her story. So here, in terms of scheduling, one of the important questions that came out is, how does Tina do it all? How did she make the decision to become a singer and also be a lawyer? And why has she been able to continuously maintain these two careers? So one of her careers, that is the lawyer, IPO and venture capital lawyer, is that was always her profession that was going to get her the money if the music industry never supported her money-wise. And that means that she always was, in her heart and soul, a singer first. So with that, she made a decision to always schedule in a lesson every week, and she has never missed a lesson. Every week of her life, even an intensity of legal deadlines, she's always scheduled a lesson and showed up for it. She says the only time she never really showed up for her music is the year in which you will find out more when she was sexually assaulted. That's the time when she took time off for herself, and that's the time when she never showed up for singing. The rest of the time in her year, she's always just scheduled a lesson, practiced every single day, and made sure that she performs as well. So this is a way that has motivated her and kept her in touch with her profession. And she always has something coming out. She puts out something to work towards. So that's the question that people are always having for me every time when they saw Tina Becker, a musician and a lawyer, and this is not performing at a lower level, but actually at a higher level in the city of London. This is the decision that she made. I want you to think about the decision you have to make. You too, to keep your profession. I know lots of women who are in different careers, but they have a passion for something else, and they always think they can't do the other. So we can see that Tina has done it. She's demonstrated how you could actually hold two professions. One maybe is just serving you as an expert, a skill, or bringing in the money, and the other is actually your passion. You too can do it. She actually says that maintaining this lesson hasn't been easy, but it had to be a discipline. And of course, that's what she also covers for us in terms of her life skills, what she has integrated between music and law is focus and discipline. You have to be able to show up and commit to be able to rise up. So that was a decision that Tina made. And then when we look at June Dennis, in terms of scheduling, June made a decision out of her learning. She made a decision to always schedule an important decision that has to be made if it can't be made there and then. And she has used this both in her personal life and in her professional life. When it comes to booking concerts, for example, if they talk about the need to go for a particular concert within the family, she has to decide at that point, let's schedule it in so that a decision is made or confirmed just in case they don't exactly, if they can't agree on a particular time. But she also does that in her professional life. If at all, she, as a chair of the board of directors in the Chartered Institute of Marketing, so if at all she gets to a point where everybody has to agree to something and for whatever reason they can't agree to it, and yet it's an important decision that has to be made, she then schedules in when this should be talked about again so that a decision can be reached. I think you need to think about it as well in your life. You know, when you want to do something, but you can't make a decision to do that thing that you need to do, the important thing is to actually note it down. Have a point where you schedule it. You schedule the decision that has to be made. I think that's what is important, because making the decision is what is important here. Showing up for that decision and saying today that decision has to be made. I have those decisions that sometimes linger in your head, and then you find that at some point, maybe the deadline passed or whatever it is has gone, and then you think, I really wanted to turn up for that show, even if it's a show, or I actually had to go for somebody's birthday, or I had to make a decision to buy that gift for my mom. So even that thought of making that decision, you need to actually now schedule making the decision. Schedule making the decision. I think that was important. I thought that these two women talking about scheduling was really important, mainly for myself. I don't know whether it is important for you. If there's anything you have to take away, schedule your decisions. Interestingly, actually, June Dennis uses her mobile phone to actually leave notes, audio notes for herself, voice notes for herself. I too need to do this. I don't use even my voice notes to this level. You too can think about it if you don't use your voice notes. So let's talk about another thing that I captured that could help you in decision making. Let's go to corporate decisions right now. June, we asked John a question about how she ensures that the decisions are the right decisions, what has to be in place. So some of the things she talked about, apart from talking about the decision being a timely decision, she too actually acknowledges that it's important for decisions that have an effect on other people, for you to gather as much information as possible from all the parties that are concerned. So with the Chartered Institute of Marketing, for example, she ensures that everybody gets the information beforehand about a decision that has to be made in the meeting. Nobody gets surprised during the meeting. Isn't that awesome? Nobody's surprised because everybody has got the information beforehand. I thought I loved this very, very much. She also talks about understanding the objective, what objective that you'd like to be achieved. Focusing on that objective is important. And also ensuring that you get as many people as possible to evaluate what is going on. Of course, not to delay the decision, but we just mean to ensure that more people are engaged in this decision. This is in an effort to reduce bias in your decision making, if it's a corporate decision especially. But even when you can translate that into family decision, we shall focus though on corporate decision. She also says that when people are creating a team, it's important to not just think about people who will always just say yes to you, just the right people, the people who fit the purpose, people who will question you. And you too have to be in a position to respect people's views, even if they are different from your views. Other thing that she talks about that really touched my heart because I belong to reflectors. She says she also gives time to reflectors, people who listen for a long time and reflect on the information before they talk. Because these type of people only speak at most likely at the end of the meeting. But many times they create aha moments where people are going to say, whoa, how come we never thought about that? It's because they take time with the information, evaluating it, making sure that you go past those who are always starting up meetings, those individuals that are always speaking from the beginning towards the end. So generally making sure that at some point, although you have to engage everyone, it's important to also get in a position where you have to make the decision and be able to move on. And then Tina Baker talks about it, these tough corporate decisions mainly at the league, using her legal experience, her expertise in that area. So she talks about asking important questions, especially where the decisions involve other people, mostly if it's a client or if it's another party who you have to work with from a different organization. If you find that you're making a decision and it's becoming difficult for you to agree, important question that has to come out is that, what do you really want? Both of you. Asking it from both angles is very important. And I think this extends beyond corporate. Understanding the other party's needs is really important in decision making. It's not all about you. It's all about the totality, ensuring that you all achieve. Then she also asks, what are we afraid of? And I think this is really important. What are we afraid of in making this decision? What is holding us back? If one thinks that you are just trying to get a better deal, especially in her area, legal section, is that it will be forget it situation. The moment they get to that thinking, they will leave the table. And if this is a client or the person you have to work with, maybe an accountant, accounting firm, then you're going to miss out on working with these individuals. They could be just the right fit, but just because you're focusing on your needs and not theirs, you might lose them. So it's important to pause and think about this. Then saying no because you can, because you're a giant or you're bigger than the other organization, might not always work as well. So those are important questions that she asks. What do we really want? What are we afraid of? Can you think about them? Then go out and tell the other party what you really want and the reasons for this, so that it stops to become a power struggle. I think we can translate Tina's content into all other relationships. This can change the conversation if we can actually zero down on what other people want and being sure that we are not just coming from a place of fear, but we're coming from a place of love and service. And then not just imposing our size onto the other parties. I think Tesco was caught up on that because it could always just refuse to buy milk from a farmer. So many farmers would oblige to whatever type of price, whatever level of price that Tesco threw towards them. Yet, when we look at it as customers, we never think about the price of milk. We just pick up a can of milk or bottle of milk, whatever you have, or a jerrycan of milk. We just pick it up. We don't really think about the price of milk. So why does Tesco then go down to almost punish these farmers? So Tesco had to rethink about this. It's not about just saying no because you can. It's thinking about the sustainability of the other business as well. Tina says that legal negotiations are at times very bad. It's all about going back and forth. Why do people really do this? And that's the question. It's because they don't drill down on what they actually really want. Getting to the heart, to what is causing sometimes the indecision, the conflict within the decision making is important. And allowing both parties to bring out their fears and their expectations so that you can all come to a better understanding. It may not work, but in many times it brings a better platform for both parties to be able to move forward. At least the fears are unfolded now. We all have to know that nothing is going to come easy, especially if we are making those courageous decision making. For all women who are listening, it's really important to think about that and not be afraid. Sometimes you have to bring a partner on board in terms of understanding whether you have or the decision that you are making that is going to serve you and serve others. One of the important decisions, most difficult decision actually Tina has ever made, she believes, is taking Jagshaw Baker, which was her founded a law firm here in the city of London, and merging it with his tech. And she found that to be really a difficult decision because she didn't feel that they had to do it. Neither did the other party at the fully at that time, but at the same time, she knew that they were tipping over. It had come to a point where this was the only way to move forward. She doesn't really regret it, but it was a difficult decision, and she still believes it was the right decision to be made. At this point, she's just a consultant, as she's mainly doing more of her music, and her partner is still a partner in the law firm. And just like Tina Baker, if we go back to Jen Dennis, she's had also a lot of courageous decisions that she has had to make, and we discussed some of them before. But one of the things, apart from taking her baby 27 years ago, 3 weeks baby, into an interview where she asserts that you have to go beyond your limits. The only limits we have are those that we set for ourselves. So don't set yourself any limitations. If you have to take a baby in, you have to take a baby with you. And the other thing she also talks about, you have to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And I think I've had a couple of people talk about these aspects of asking. I did get it up in Gabrielle Shaw's interview, who you will get in coming episodes in the future. You're going to be able to learn from this young entrepreneur who starts up in a foreign country and is just 25 years old, and she just decides to go ahead and set up a business in the city of London in a lucrative area, luxurious business that serves people, a premium category of entrepreneurs, and decides to go and ask pitches way above her weight and only to be selected as the best. She was competing against high-level agencies. So we shouldn't be afraid to show up and turn up. But when we go back to Jane Dennis, she changes her career as well. She changes her career and decides to start a family and start a business at the same time. So at that point, she's not going to even get maternity leave because she's just started a business. That was quite courageous. Then after that, she goes back to take her first job, which was way away from home. And recently, she has made a decision to retract from that job because it has served her for a decade and realized it can't serve her anymore. So here we are with courageous decisions. At some point in your life, you need to make those decisions. So on reflecting on the two women as stories that I've used, that is Tina Baker, who you will find in episode 9, and 10. And then also looking at Jane Dennis, who you will find in episode 7 and 8. Two different women with different disciplines or professions. One is a marketer and an academic, that's June Dennis. And we have Tina Baker, who is a singer and a lawyer. It is amazing to actually interview women from different disciplines and many times from different backgrounds and also operating in different parts of the world. So what is your take on this? What will you ensure changes in your approach of decision making? How courageous are you going to be? So from this particular episode, I will just remind you that we focus mainly on scheduling, the aspect of scheduling from both different stories, which you can also find in the Stellar Woman magazine. That is issue 8, Courageous Decision Making, where Tina Baker was the cover page person. You will also decide to think about, apart from scheduling, you can also go into thinking about corporate decision making, which you can also integrate other aspects of your life, although both women used them in their corporate lives, both of them at senior level, because remember, June Dennis is the chairperson of the Chartered Institute of Marketing here in the UK, but also Tina Baker, who is now back in the US, is UK qualified and US qualified lawyer and a singer who has sang at gold and platinum level record and produced gold and platinum records. But she's also an IPO and venture capital specialist and lawyer in UK and the US, and she has been a partner in a US law firm, founded her own firm, co-founded with another gentleman, and that was Jack Shaw Baker, and also which merged with Withers Tech. So she has operated at the high level and also has June Dennis. If you look at these women, they talk about these courageous decisions, how you can go about decision making within your team. For example, think about how you will approach another partner in your business. Could be that you have to work with an accounting firm to pitch for a particular business. Or it could be that you are negotiating, making decisions for your firm, but you have a client, thinking about the needs of the client, your needs, and being clear with them, but also going in and looking at the needs of the client and coming out with the need to serve rather than greed or being more powerful, positioning yourself as one who is more powerful, because at the end, it might be a lose for both parties. So ensuring that you understand the other party. But we also, when we look at Jane Dennis, you might decide to take on board changing the fact that you will need to always solicit understanding before a decision has to be made by the team, especially if you're going to the board, ensuring that everybody can understand what decision is going to be made and that they have enough information before the meeting. Also ensuring that all of them are called upon to speak, thinking about reflectors, those who keep quiet. Even at home, you have a child who keeps out quiet, thinking about that child and not thinking that they don't know. They could be reflectors. So they could be the people who have to really take in the information, evaluate it back and forth before they speak. Because if you have those who speak quickly, you might lose out on this. So I know that you're going to make changes and you are going to be more courageous. Use scheduling, involve others, and think about others' needs. Come from the heart and be of great service. Until next time, I am Stella, here with you, ensuring that you're empowered to make courageous decisions so that you can be more impactful and that you may thrive in your life. Until next time, make sure you tune in to the www stellarwomanmag.com, and subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know how we've done. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Thank you for joining us on the Stellar Woman magazine and show's mission to spread thriving women's stories, knowledge, and experiences so that you too can learn one or two things, be inspired, empowered to change, and thrive. We change one woman at a time. This, we believe, will help to make the world a better and brighter world. I hope today's episode inspired you to change perspective, see new possibilities, and take action so that you can become the stellar woman that you would like to be. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go to the Stellar Woman Show and magazine website for transcripts and more. Also, please remember to subscribe, review, and share with others, and follow us on all social media platforms. Have a great day. We look forward to catching up with you on the next episode.